Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, and today I'm continuing my playthrough of Skies Above Britain. We're up to the final chapter of the campaign, chapter number 4. So let's read what this chapter is all about. Chapter 4, Ebb of Battle. Late 7 September to 1 October 1940. The war has come home to Britain. The Luftwaffe focuses on cities and ports, especially London. Its resources are stretched as fighter command fails to crumble. By now, several RAF squadrons have adopted new tactics, many of its pilots having learned the hard way. Historically, this chapter ends with Germany switching over to night raids, having failed to establish air supremacy in the skies above Britain. Okay, this is another 8 patrol chapter, just like chapter 3 was. Here is our raid vector allotment. You can see much more likely that they're going to come into the deep zone now before dropping their ordnance. Excuse me. And we are either starting deep or middle. No possibility of starting on the coast. And no additional fuel expenditure for starting in any of those zones. Either of those zones. Okay, we mentioned this at the end of the last patrol because I had heard somewhere that we were limited to only 16 pilots for this chapter, and yes, that is indeed the case. We can still field 12, but we're limited to 16 on our roster. So we had 4 that were either KIA or for other reasons. I think maybe one had been discharged from the hospital or something that were unavailable to us. So I basically just permanently removed those markers. I mean, technically we can reuse those if we want to, switch to a different letter or whatever. But basically the 16 that we've got here is all we're going to have, subject to replacements, of course. And then this is the table you would use if you were starting your campaign with chapter number 4. So you can see you get to start with more veterans and aces than you would have, but you also start with some fatigued than if you start at the very beginning with chapter 1. All right, and then we've got a new visibility chart. Pretty similar, it looks like, to the others. Probably some slight variations here in the ranges of die rolls. And then our escort chart. Ooh, that looks nasty. They all look bad. Even if you roll a 12, you're still ending up with 3 stations occupied. So, yeah, this one's going to be a bit rougher, I think, with all the escorts in play. And then, of course, a new chart for our bomber configuration, and once again, no option for Stukas, only Junkers, Dorniers, and Heinkels. So it looks like 50% chance of getting Heinkels, and then a slightly better chance of getting Junkers than Dorniers. And the corresponding configurations that go along with those. All right. So let's go ahead and roll for our random event. We've got a new table to use now. I did go back on one of the previous episodes. I mentioned, did I look at this wrong chart when I got that transfer result? Was it actually an 11 and should have been cratered? But no, it was actually a 12 and I was looking at the right chart. So false alarm there. But now we are down here on the bottom one, and we now have this option of big wing, which I'm hoping we get this at least one time, because it basically lets you fly 2 squadrons on the patrol, which sounds like it'll be fun. All right, so let's see what we get. And it's a 3, so we got new men. Well, I don't think that's going to help us because we are at our maximum roster size, so we aren't even going to be rolling for replacements. We'll look at it nonetheless. If I can find it. There it is. You're allowed 2 replacement pilots this patrol instead of 1. If using graduated replacement table, which we are, roll 2 dice and select one of the numbers rolled. Well, like I said, we're at maximum roster capacity, so we will not be rolling for replacements, so that's basically a no event for us. All right, now let's take a look at our pilot situation and see who we want to send on this patrol. All right, so Doggett and Upchurch are no longer fatigued, but now let's see who is fatigued. So we're looking at who flew in patrols 7 and 8 in the last chapter, and that's going to be Birtwistle. It's going to be Ellsworth. It's going to be Irwin. Pertwee. And Rathbone. And Tremble he was already fatigued, so we definitely need to sit him out or he will be exhausted. So let's put him, I put Birtwistle in the wrong box. He's not green. And White. Wow, so we got quite a few fatigued pilots. I have a feeling we might be only putting 3 sections up for this patrol. All right, the other thing we need to look at is, do we have any promotions? So let's see, Atkinson, I think he's already, no, he's not. How many patrols has he flown now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Atkinson is now a veteran. Birtwistle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more and he'll be a veteran. So let's get Atkinson promoted. All right, who else? Doggett only has 5. He just came off being green. Ellsworth is already a veteran. He's been with us since the beginning. He's a stud. Same with Hooley. He just needs one more bomber kill, or excuse me, or 2 more escort kills to be an ace. Let's see. Fitzroy, he's not close yet. 1, 2. Yeah, he just came off being green as well. Grant is still green. Hooley. Actually, I need to scratch off these ones that we got rid of. Yeah, we still have Grant. Hooley, he's already a veteran. Irwin's already a veteran. Merrington, I think we no longer have him, right? Was he one of the ones we had to scrap? Or no, he's still here. I had his green marker on top of his pilot marker. So he's got one patrol under his belt. Northcott's already a veteran. Osgood, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He needs 3 more. Pertwee, he should be close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just one more for Pertwee. Rathbone's already a veteran. Tremble, close to being regular. Just one more patrol for him. Upchurch and White are already veterans. All right, so it looks like we just had the one promotion for Atkinson. We got a couple that are one away, so keep an eye on that. All right, did I already? Maybe I already. Yeah, that's right, because they had already been crossed off because they were KIA or discharged. So we're good there. So these are our 16 pilots that we have, currently all available to fly. See if we can keep it that way. All right, so let's see how we want to fill these out. We've only got, if we don't use any fatigued, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more that we can send. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move Hooley down to blue section lead. So we've got to fill out 3, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And that's exactly what we have. Is that right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, oh yeah, there's 4 under there. Yikes, okay. So yeah, we're just gonna fly 3 sections this time. And we definitely want to get Upchurch back out there because he's our ace, although his Bloodhound skill hasn't really come into play yet. And then we'll give Northcott lead of green section. Atkinson just became a veteran, so we're going to hold off giving him a section lead for now. We'll have him fly with Upchurch, our ace, so maybe he can learn some things from him. And that leaves Doggett to fill out blue section. All right, I think that looks good. So we can get rid of yellow's fuel marker. Won't be needing that. And we can go ahead, we got nobody in the hospital to roll for, so we can just go ahead and start getting things set up here. So again, here's what we're looking at for inbound vector markers. So let me get those out. Give them a good mix. All right, so we need 1 here, none in the first spot, 1 there, 1 here, then 2, and then 4, and 4. There's 4 left over, so we did it right. Okay, now let's roll to see where our squadron starts. So 1 to 8, we're deep. 9 to 12, we're in the middle. And we got a 9. So we'll be in the middle zone. I think that's a good place to be, because more than likely the first raid result will be in here somewhere. All right, and then we've got our starting visibility. Again, red die will be for the visibility, blue die for sun location. 12 is going to be clouds, no sun. So clouds with no sun. We'll just leave that there for the time being. All right. Don't need to do the escorts yet, so I think that's it for setup. Let's go ahead and get started. Raid vector sequence, starting with the reveal phase. We just got one marker to reveal here, and it is weather. Which I believe, if I remember correctly, we just had the same situation previously. Weather, when it's already clouds, has no effect. Oh, there it is. Visibility changes to haze. If haze already, it is now clouds. So yeah, if it's already clouds, nothing. All right, so that was quick. I'll just leave that there for the time being. All right, so that concludes the reveal phase. We'll go to the fuel phase. Everyone spends a fuel. And then contact. Well, we can't make contact yet because the raid marker is not out. So we go to the vector phase. And we can move to an adjacent zone and or change altitude or reform. But we've got no one to reform, so we will do a move. And we're just going to go to high altitude. I'm happy to be right here in the middle. And that does not cost a fuel. If we were to do both, moving to an adjacent zone and changing altitude, then we would have to spend a fuel. All right, so that takes us back to the top of the raid vector sequence with the reveal phase. Again, just one marker here. There it is, perfect. So the raid marker comes down onto the track. Well, almost perfect. I would like the weather to be better. So because the visibility is not clear, we do not roll for the escorts at this time. We will roll for them either when we make contact or if we get a turn point result before we make contact, which causes the sun to come back out. You roll for the escorts then, from my reading of the rules anyway, whether or not you've made contact yet or not. Whether or not you've made contact yet or not. I think I got too many knots in there. All right. But in any event, we are not, there's another one, rolling to place the escorts yet. So yeah, that concludes the, I don't think there's anything else we do on the initial vector marker, right? Or raid result. Place it in the, it's clear. Yep, that's it. Okay, then that takes us to another fuel phase. So we'll spend another fuel. And now, yes, we will make contacts because we're in the same zone and we're at high altitude, which is the optimal position to be in for contact. So we are in the same zone. So we're rolling here. We don't have the sun, so we don't have the option to come out of the sun if we had rolled a 10 or more. We do get -1 modifier because of the clouds. So we need an 11 or 12 if we want to be able to come in from the nose, which would be awesome if we could. But I think we'll settle for, I mean, flank high will probably be good too, depending on where the escorts end up being. But again, we don't know that information yet, so unfortunately it won't be able to influence our decision here. All right, let's see what we get. 3, boo, which is actually a 2. So we're coming in tail low, or we can adjust to tail high or flank low. Yeah, man, I really wish I knew where the escorts were going to be. I mean, let's look at the possibilities of where they might be. Because coming in from the tail would probably be good, other than having to draw 2 markers on a return fire. I mean, here they're port and starboard, high, low, and ahead. So I'm just thinking our options are going to be tail or flank. And then tail can be either low or high. Obviously, we would want to go high, I think. I know flank is going to be bad if both starboard and port are occupied. So how many combinations are there of that? There's the 1 to 2 would give us port and starboard. 7 to 9 would give us port and starboard. 11 would give us port and starboard. So there's 5 results out of 12 that would give us port and starboard. So yeah, I'm thinking coming in from the flank is probably not, well, I guess it's more likely that they won't be in both, right? So flank may be a good choice here. Because if they're not in both, then they're only contributing a 5 or a 4, and then basically, as long as they aren't, high is going to be nasty from flank, but high is also nasty coming in from the tail, although tail high is a little better. So of those that don't have port and starboard, how many of them have high? This one does. This one does. This one does. So yeah, basically we're down to then only 10 and 12, I think, are our would be good results if we come in from starboard or port. So then the other option is tail. Then we don't care if they're at starboard or port, because that's only a 7. Not too bad. We've also got, but then high is we'd come in high. So actually, yeah, it's only be a 6 or a 5, depending on if it's 109s or 110s. So we don't care about starboard or port there. Here we care about, we don't want them to be high or tailing would be the worst for that. So high, we're looking at this result, this result, this result. So 3 through 6 would be bad. But I mean, it's going to be bad either way. And it's actually slightly better tail high than flank low. So then the only other concerning one would be trailing, and that's only if we get up here, 11 or 12. So yeah, I think tail high might be our best shot at getting in on them. So let's do that. We're going to adjust that tail low position to tail high by spending a fuel. All right. And now that we've made contact, we do roll to see what the escorts are going to be, or what they are. They're already there. We just don't know what they are yet. And we got a 3. So all heavies, and they're all 109s in high, low, and ahead. That actually might be I mean, the high's not good, but the other two are going to be probably not too detrimental. I mean, lows a little bit, almost as bad as trailing, but not quite. But yeah, the high one is going to be the bad one. So we're going to need a 10, unless we want to try to suppress them. But we'll look at that here in a second. All right, so they're all heavy and they're all 109s. And we've got high, low, and a head. Okay. The right way. There we go. All right. And then normally we would also roll for the bombers to put them out now, but because it's clouds, that's deferred until we actually successfully intercept them. So we don't get to do that quite yet. All right, so since we made contact, we're dropping out of the raid vector sequence and starting the interception sequence with the orders phase. So now is decision time. Do we want to send one of our sections to intercept this high station, so that then we're only looking at 7 and a 4, so we're needing a 7 instead of a 10. We do have +3, potentially +3 pluck, or +3 to this roll from pluck, because all 3 of our section leaders could contribute. If we sent everyone at the bombers, all 3 of our section leaders could contribute. So we'd be needing a 7 or higher, and plus that way we'd have 9 fighters going after the bombers instead of only 6. The chances of suppressing, since we'd only be sending 3 fighters against a heavy escort, we'd need to roll at least an 8 to suppress. So at that point we only need a 7 to intercept, so why do something that requires you to get an 8 in order to make the next roll easier? So I don't think that's worth doing. So we're just going to send everybody in. And I mean, yeah, you could argue, yeah, but you could use your pluck on that roll, so it's really only needing a 5 to suppress. But then we're still needing a 7 for the intercept, which is what we would have needed if we hadn't used the pluck to do that in the first place. So yeah, I think in this situation, I don't think it makes sense to try to suppress those that escort station. So we're just going to give a bomber's order to the entire squadron. We can get them. So we go to the intercept phase, resolve the bomber's order since we have no escort orders, and we will do a bomber interception check. So we're coming in from tail high, so we don't have to spend another fuel for this, and we need a 10 or higher. But again, with our pluck, 7 or higher will suffice, and we can spend a fuel to re-roll if necessary. And we got an 11. Perfect. Don't even have to use our privileges. So this comes off, and now we finally get to see what we're dealing with. So red die for bomber type, blue die for configuration. 12 is going to be Heinkel's, and 5 is going to be this 6 tile configuration here. That one would have been nicer. That one would have been even nicer. All right, so I'll get that set up and bring the fighters down, and we'll be ready to start the bomber cycle. So this is interesting here. When I first saw this, I thought this was the way it was with this rear keta, you know, adjacent to each of these. But then if you look closer at this, it almost looks like, I mean, this corner for sure, it's only touching at the corner. So I don't know if that's supposed to be considered contiguous. Here it looks like, you know, it's slightly, very slightly overlapping, but I'm wondering if that's just because they, you know, they had some alignment issues here, it looks like, because there's a little bit of a gap in there, and some of these aren't aligned quite exactly in line with each other. So I'm not really sure if this back tile is supposed, you know, if it's considered isolated right off the bat, or if it's supposed to be considered, you know, part of the, I would think they would be in a contiguous formation. I mean, every other one, they're all contiguous to each other. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be isolated right away, or considered contiguous. And if so, is it only contiguous to that one because that's where the overlap is and this is only touching at the corner? I think I'm going to see if I can get some clarification on that before proceeding here, because that makes a huge difference on how we're going to approach this. Because if they're contiguous, then we need to, you know, isolate, 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 isolate in order to get everything isolated. Whereas if this is already considered isolated, then all we got to do is isolate these two. I guess technically it'd be isolate, isolate, isolate. We'd isolate these three and then everything's isolated. But like I said, if this is already treated as isolated, then we only have to do these two. So I'm going to go see if I can get an answer to that and be back in a bit. All right, I got an answer to my question. I posted on Board Game Geek asking about this, and Gina Willis, one of the designers, actually responded and said, yes, all tiles are supposed to be touching at the start of the scenario. And Stuart, or Stu, I think he just goes by Stu, also pointed out, if I'd have just looked up here, it says no tile starts isolated. So I've made a correction to the PDF file to make it more clear that these should be touching, and then printed off a new copy of my little scenario card here. So this is what we're going to be using. So let's make that adjustment here. And then, oops, there we go. Need to get our fighters down into the area. We are approaching from, wow, I took my marker off and it's been a day since I started this, so I kind of forgot where we were starting from. So I'm gonna go check that out. Okay, we're approaching from tail high, so coming in from the tail. And remember, for this first round in the bomber area, we suffer the penalty of having to draw 2 return fire markers and choosing the worst of the 2. If we get any return fire results, and I'm guessing we probably will. All right, so I think we want to focus on these 3 tiles to try to get them isolated. So I think what we'll do is I don't think it matters a whole lot which one we start with. We'll want to concentrate most of our fighters on one of the tiles, I think, and then just throw like one or two fighters on the other two to try to make sure that we get that disruption result. And I'm not sure, I don't remember how, I think coming from the tail, there might not be quite as many options or percentage wise, I guess, of getting a disruption result. So yeah, I think what we'll do is focus a lot on the rearmost tile there, and then or actually, you know what, because there's a possibility if we don't get that rear one isolated that a new raid result could potentially isolate it, and as long as we have fighters in the bomber formation area when that happens, we still get the victory points for it. So maybe we'll go after one of those, one heavy on one of these two, and then just throw maybe a couple back here and a couple on the other one up there. All right, let's see who we got that's green. So let's get their green markers down here. Red 3, which is Merrington, is green, and blue 3, which is Grant, is green. All right, so we want to make sure we keep them together with their leader so that they can use their, I've been calling it stay close because that's what it says here on the board, but actually in the rules and on the player aid card, it's called stay trim. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be stay trim and the board is incorrect. But in any event, so why don't we send these two here, and then let's send the other two here, and then these 6 will all pile on, or 5 I guess, will all pile on this tile. Like, let's just focus on a couple of the bombers there. That way we can try to get hopefully get a, once it's isolated, hopefully get a distress result as well. All right, I think we'll go with that. All right, so we got the bomber deck all shuffled up. So we're gonna start back here with green 3. Maybe we go, because we want to try to make sure we get this one, because if we don't get that one, then we can hopefully maybe get a, what you call it, which maybe actually, since we want, you know what, I think I'm going about this wrong. So if we want this to be, these two to be the most likely to get isolated, I think we want to have I think we want to switch these two. Let's put these guys back here, because we're going to start with one of these two, so that will be the most likely to get isolated, and then this would be the next most likely, assuming this one did get isolated, because then we have fewer fighters, and then assuming both of these work, then this would be the least likely. So let's do it that way. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start up here with blue 3, and we're here and we're on the tail. Look at that. We only need 6 for that. Perfect. It does get return fire though. So we get a damage result. And it's an engine. Okay, so that one falls out. Perfect. Let's see. Heinkels are the ones with the big yellow engines. That one's going to go here. Put a fallen marker on it. And then it does isolate the tile. So let's... I'm just going to pull this out and put it back over here. Out of the way. Okay, so we've got one tile isolated. So you're on chapter 4, patrol 1. So one keta isolated. And then return fire on green there. Remember, we have to draw 2, whichever one is worse. We go with. So we got to hit fuselage 6 or mechanical failure. So I'm going to say this one hits. I think you treat as worse than any other result. So he's got a fuselage 6. Unfortunately, our leader can't do anything about that. And then blue leader will do next. And this is now an isolated bomber. Look at that. 2 hits and low ammo. Or 2 damage. So we've got a second engine hit. That's going to kill it right there. 2 engine hits on a Junker. Or no, wait, this is a Heinkel. Yeah, either way. 2 engine hits on a Heinkel. Destroys it. Just for fun, the other one was a wing. So blue leader. Piloted by Hooley. Ooh, I think that makes him an ace. Hooley gets another bomber kill. Yes, that's his 5th bomber kill. And 1 for the patrol. So Hooley will be an ace after this patrol. I think you wait until after the patrol to award that. It's not immediate. All right, so this one's gone. We can flip this over to destroyed. All right, next let's go here on, who's this, red 3. So supported tile, we need 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So not good enough. If he's a green pilot, he takes a hit. Red leader is going to use his stay trim privilege to say, no, you don't. So he doesn't take that hit. And that's all we have on that card. Okay, and then red leader. There it is. Looks just like the first one. Damage, return fire, and disrupt on a 6, which we got plenty for that. So these 2 now become isolated. So that's 2 more isolated Ketten. And we get a damage result. Another engine would be nice, or cockpit would be even better. Just a wing. And then he takes return fire. So draw 2, choose the worst. We got a green pilot hit, so that's going to be a nothing. And then we have a hit. Oh, wing 5. That's not too bad. Hopefully. All right. Now for our guys in the back. Let's go for blue 2. Okay. No disruption on this one, but 2 hits or 2 damage, so that's good. That'll help rack up some more markers on there. He goes low ammo. Did we miss a no? That was, yeah, we got it right. Yeah, that's the first low ammo result. That's kind of surprising. And then 2 damage. Got a fuselage. And a wing. Good job, blue 2. All right, next up is green 2. Oh, just return fire. That's terrible. So we got a green pilot hit, which would be a nothing, or a hit. Wing 5, okay. We got to take them. I like these low numbers on them. All right, green leader is next. Damage and return fire. Well, we're getting some markers built up. Hopefully we can get a disrupt here on one of these. It does look like there's more results from the tail that don't include disruption, because it seems like pretty much every, at least of the ones we've seen so far, every nose and flank column has had a disrupt result. But that's what, 3 now? 3 tails that haven't. So that was what I thought was the case, but I wasn't sure. All right, so he gets a wing damage on that one, and then has to take return fire. So we have, wow, we keep pulling those green hits. If we could only get 2 of them in a row, that'd be perfect. Called it. All right, so nothing there. All right, green 3 next. Come on, get a disrupt. Boom, no. Okay, green pilot hit, and then 2 more damage and a low ammo. He's not green, so low ammo. And 2 more damage markers. Got an engine, okay, so that one's going to drop out. It actually makes less counters on the tile, but I'll take it. Fewer counters, sorry. My daughter's an English teacher, so I have to watch my grammar. And then we get a second one. Oh, look at that, cockpit, nice. All right, so that was green 3. So that's our second bomber kill of the patrol. And green 3 is being flown by Osgood. 3rd bomber kill for him. Nice job. Okay, so he's done. This one's destroyed now. Then we still have, we'll just move these back up to here. I guess they still count as being engaged. I'm not sure how that works actually. With this fighter, since, because so this one fell out, so these two were engaged with that bomber once it fell, but then he destroyed it. And it was still all part of this draw from the top row. So what's going to happen then is red 2 is going to have to use the top row as well, because when there's no target, if the target you were on gets destroyed, you have to use the same row as the previous attack on it. So since green 3's attack used the top row, red 2's attack is also going to use the top row. But in that case, are these two still considered to be engaged with this bomber tile, so they count toward disrupt results? That's a little fuzzy there, I think. I'm going to say, since we're drawing the card, since we're using that row on the card, then yes, there are still considered engaged with that tile. If you think otherwise and have a rules reference to back you up, then let me know in the comments. I'll probably pose this on BGG as well, because this seems like a pretty weird situation that they probably didn't think of addressing in the rules. All right, so we're going to go with that though. Doesn't matter, there's no disrupt on it. So we ignore damage results, and he only takes a return fire result. And whoops, gotta look at the back. So it's a hit, wing 7, or low ammo. So we're gonna go with the wing 7. Something I just thought of, I wonder, like let's say for example, we got an engine 9 and a cockpit 9. So which one of those would be considered worse? Would we look at the fate box and see which one's harder to recover from? I guess that's what you would use as a tiebreaker in that situation. But that's not what we had. What did we have? I forgot to, I threw that thing back in there. That was dumb. Hold on a second. It was a wing 7. Oops. All right, so that concludes the burst step for round 1. So we disengage everyone. Okay, and then we have 4 hit checks to resolve. Yikes. So let's start with our, slide this over here so we can get them all in here. We'll start with this wing 5 on green 2. That one's trivial. And we've also got a wing 5 on red leader. Also trivial. We've got a fuselage 6 on blue 3. Trivial. And a wing 7 on red 2. Oh, not so lucky. All right, so red 2 is going to the wing fate box. All right. So that concludes the bomber cycle. We resume back to the interception sequence, which we were here in the intercept phase. No cruise orders to resolve, so we go to the entropy phase and right back to the bomber formation. All right, so let's see if we can. I mean, we could say 5 points is good enough and send everybody home before the escorts show up. But I would kind of like to get these last 3 points and maybe another bomber or two. So I think what we'll do is just focus on these 2 bombers. So that way everyone's on the same tile, maximum effect for, I mean, even if we put them on these, we'd still have maximum effect for disruption. But that way then once this is isolated, we just got these 2 left. Pretty good chance we could get one of them either destroyed or fallen, which makes the other one a lone bomber. And then hopefully we can get kills on both of those 2. All right, go ahead and move this back up to where it was since it's not in the way now there. Okay, and we're going to come in from the flank so there's no delay. We'll come in from the starboard side. Let's see, Hooli hasn't used his privilege yet. So we want to keep him together with... where is blue leader? Oh, I just moved him up there. We want to keep him together with blue 3 so that he can use his privilege if necessary to cancel a green hit. We don't have to worry about drawing 2 anymore. Let's send a few here. We want to do at least 4 on this one. We might need 4 hits to take it down. This one theoretically only needs 2 more, but then I think we send a backup on each one and do it like that in case somebody doesn't get a damage. All right. We're going to let's start here because I want to keep these 2 markers on there as long as possible. So we'll have red 3 attack this lead bomber here. And we are now starboard and 9. I think we got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Ooh, he is a green pilot. And red leader has already used his privilege to keep him from taking a hit previously, so this one unfortunately he's going to have to take. But this tile gets isolated. So that's 3 more isolated Ketan. Mark that down. We got our max points for isolating Ketan. And then green pilot takes a hit. And it's a fuselage 7. You do get a damage though and low ammo. And the damage is a wing. Okay, red leader is next. We're on an isolated tile, starboard report, falls out on a 4, which it will, but then just takes return fire. So another fallen marker. Put this guy back here with his wing damage. Move all these over. And then we have a return fire. And it's a hit, wing 5. Okay, green 2. Lone bomber now. Green pilot, no. Damage and low ammo. Perfect. Engine. One more of those and he'll be taken out. Green leader. There we go. Dorsal gunner hit and low ammo. And finish him off here, green 3. Yes. So he's out of ammo. He does get that final hit needed. We'll see what it was just for fun. Huh, cockpit. Overkill. All right. So that was green 3. Piloted by Osgood again. Wow. That's 2 in this patrol. That's his 4th. One more and he's an ace. We'll have an ace regular pilot maybe. All right, that's our 3rd bomber kill. So this flips over to destroyed. And actually, as soon as this fell out, this one became a lone bomber as well. So we can get rid of this tile. We'll leave these out here just as reminders that we destroyed a couple bombers. And wasn't anything else on there, right? Just the damage and the low ammo. All right. Now, let's see if we can finish this one off. Blue 3. Dorsal gunner hit and low ammo. Just need one more. Can blue leader do it? Yes, he can. Low ammo. And the final hit is, or damage is, a fuselage. So, get another destroyed marker out here to represent that. Put away, and then lastly, blue 2 still has to resolve a card. It'll be on the same row as the previous, and it's just a damage result which gets ignored. And that's it. Oh, almost forgot. Blue leader is piloted by Hooley again. Wow. Hooley and Osgood, stars of the show today. So that's a 6th bomber kill for Hooley. And another one for the patrol. We've got 4 bomber kills. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 isolated Ketan. It's going to be a 10-point patrol. That's only had 1, 2. I've only had 3 patrols up to this point in the first 3 chapters that were 10 points or more, so doing quite well here. That's what I told. I've been watching Grant OS, Grant Lang or Lang. I'm not sure how he pronounces his last name. He just started on, or he just finished his 2nd patrol, and he managed to score 11, I think 10 or 11 points in the first one and 10 points in the second one. I was telling him that's that's quite good to get 10 plus points in your first 2 patrols. So, all right, so disengage. We already are. So we got 2 hit checks to resolve. So we have a fuselage 7. Ooh, nope, not even close. So that's red 3. He's a green pilot, so let's keep that with him so we remember that. He goes to the fuselage fate box. And then we have a wing 5. Oh, wow. 2 1s in a row. That's terrible. Red leader goes to the wing fate box. So that's red section completely out, so we can remove their fuel marker. All right, and then we resume back to the interception sequence in the entropy phase, and we have reaction. So let's draw a card, see what we got. Oh, okay, good. Nobody's in port or starboard. That would have been nasty. We are going to get 2 from the low and 1 from the high, though. Clouds. Oh, actually, it is cloudy, isn't it? So we need to check this first, although it's not really going to affect anything because all the fighters are in the bomber formation already. We have to roll to see if there's a clouds escape. There's not. I guess the only effect would be if someone lost contact, then they wouldn't be able to chase, but at this point, I'm happy to head home as soon as I can with my 10 points. And hopefully as many pilots alive as possible. All right, so we got 3 total, and they're both 109s and heavy, so it doesn't really matter which one's which. We're just going to have 3 Luftwaffe Advantage cards. And they're all going to be heavy 109s. All right, so I've been, at least I think I've been doing this maybe slightly incorrectly in assigning these, because I've been under the impression that since the rules limit you to no more Luftwaffe Advantage cards than you have fighters in the bomber formation area, that each fighter could not get more than 1 Luftwaffe Advantage card. But Grant pointed out that he found a post on BGG where Jerry White said that actually you can potentially have a fighter get more than 1 of these. So we'll have to just dole them out one at a time, and everyone will be eligible to get 1 even if they've already gotten 1. So we have 6 fighters, so we'll just do a divide by 2 roll here. 3 is going to be this one, so he gets the first card. We'll just set these off to the side for now. And whoa, it's going to be, well, definitely not Hun in the Sun because it's cloudy. Head on with a Rota. see. As far as escort kills, if we get one more escort kill, that'll be a victory point as well. Because we have three pending. So we're lone fighter against a 109, and they vanish, and we take a hit. Another little tip for you on the card distribution, I guess. Stu pointed out in one of Grant's videos that every head-on card always includes a vanish result. It's just a matter of whether. So they're either going to go away and you don't have to worry about anything, or there'll be reinforcements and then you'll have to worry about some on your tail. But the head-on guys are always going to vanish. So that's just a little tidbit of information for you there. All right, so our hit is a wing 10. Come on, roll big. Oh, so close. So he goes to the wing fate box. Lots of wing hits there, this patrol. All right. Well, he's no longer in the running. So we'll do divide by 2 again and ignore 11 or 12. 1 is going to be this guy. One of our green pilots. So this is Grant, I believe. So he's got to deal with, this won't apply because it's not a section. Tailed by a swarm. He's got low ammo. Let's try to do a turn. Uh, 109. Okay, the turn succeeds and we go low ammo. So he's now out of ammo. Whoops. But is now head on with them. And again, like I just said, this is guaranteed to have a vanish result. It's just a question of whether we get hit and or reinforcements show up. So this is now round 2, so he's going to go lost contact. And boom, boom. Oh, look at that. Green pilot takes a hit. Wouldn't you know it? So it does indeed vanish as predicted. But Grant is a green pilot, so he will take a hit here. Oh, man. I'm getting all the high numbers now. Had all the low ones earlier. Wing, or no, fuselage, 11. Oh, man. So he goes to the fuselage box with his other green compatriot. All right. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. And we've got one more dogfight to resolve. We can divide by 3 now. 2 is going to be the first one here, which is blue 2. See what he has to deal with. It is a heavy escort, so we get bounced. We're going to be head on with a rota and tailed by a swarm. It does say add, not replace. So this looks like a rather sticky situation. So we'll resolve the head on first. Hey, look at that. We get a point, though. So he runs out of ammo. This vanishes, but he does get a kill. So credit the pilot of Blue 2, which is Doggett, with an escort kill. And that's our fourth since we last scored a point. So that'll be worth a point. Doggett. That's his second escort kill. No bomber kills yet, but he's got 2 escort kills. Well, unconfirmed escort kills. Oh, what am I doing? I still got to do that. So that was the head-on. I think he's out of ammo. I think we just evade this time. Hope we can get a vanish with nothing else on the card. Nope. We'll take this. So they're reduced. We take a hit. That's a little better. Elevator 7. And then because we evaded and we're still being tailed, they get reduced again down to a swarm. So we roll for our hit check. 7 or better. No. Wow. So elevator box for him. All right. That does it for the help arrives. I don't think there was anything else on here that applies. Ahead would move to lead and trailing would move to high, and then there's no ambush, fortunately. So that's it for reaction. Next we go to chase. There's no one lost contact, so we skip that. Patrol complete? No, we still have fighters in the bomber formation area. So we have to spend a fuel. Oh, we're just down to green section now. Wow. The bomber rounds took out all of red section, and then the escort reaction took out all of blue section. So there's our fuel spent. Escort recovery, no. Escort exit. So 109s will exit on a 10 or higher. So let's roll for the ahead station first. No. The high station. No. And the low station. Yes. So the low station gets reduced. Oh, I forgot to check. There was reductions on the escort reaction card, but it was for port and starboard, and we had nobody there. Don't want to miss that, though. All right, so that's escort exit. Channel patrol. No, there's no channel patrol number here. It's not until you get up into these areas. And then nothing to do for reform, so we go to the raid vector step. So this moves over, and we reveal these two. There it is. They drop their bombs. They move to the turn space. All these go away now. Glad there wasn't any flak in there. All right. And then if the sun were out, we would roll for a new sun position. But it is not. So I think that's all we do. double check real quick. Raid marker already in play. Drop the ordnance. I guess we do set up the outbound markers now too, but I don't think that's going to matter. Yeah, that's it. So we'll get 3 outbound markers, or actually 4, because we're in the middle zone now. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there is 4. Okay. And then we go to swirl again, back up to orders. No one to give orders to. Nothing to do for intercept phase, entropy phase. We go back to the bomber formation area, and these 3 guys are all going to RTB. No escort reaction because no one's in the bomber area. Nothing for chase. Patrol complete, yes. All right, so let's see what happens to our guys here. Or what happened to our guys. It's already happened. We're just now finding out what happened. All right, I'm going to slide this down. Bring over the dice tray. Do that right there. I think we can see that well enough. All right, so we got 2 green pilots here in the fuselage box. So we're going to need an 8 or higher for them to land their aircraft. Starting with blue 3. 12, nicely done, Grant. Put your green marker back with your pilot marker. And then let's see if Merrington can do as well. No. Fire. And because he's green, we have to roll on this bottom row then. 8. Ooh, almost. He goes to the hospital. So Merrington is hospitalized. Then we have 3 in the wing box, needing a 9 or higher. None of these are green, though. Let me move this up here just a little bit closer. So blue leader, 6 is going to be a crash. I guess I should roll 2 dice for this, huh? And a 7 is for a crash. Oh, again, just barely missed bailing out. So blue leader is Hooley, our new ace. He goes to the hospital. That would have been terrible if he just made ace and then got killed. Just realized that. All right, for red leader, we're going to go red die is the initial result, and then blue die if necessary. So 10, he bails out lands successfully, not bails out. And then red 2 crashes, and a 4 is also hospitalized. He just missed, up on the top row here. Hospitalized, the red 2 is Atkinson. And then we have blue 2 needing an 8 or higher with some elevator damage. No, 4, 4 is crash, or 2, sorry, is a crash, and then 4, he just barely manages to bail out. So that was blue 2, which is Doggett. All right. That is everyone's fate. These 3 that RTB'd don't have to check for bailout. They had plenty of fuel left. So that is going to wrap it up for this patrol. Let's look at our summary of our results. We had, so for victory points, which is this column, we had 6 isolated Ketan, 4 destroyed bombers, so that's 10. And then we got our 4th escort kill since the last time we scored them. So that will be 11. So 11 victory points. A very nice start for Chapter 4. We had 1 bailout, 3 hospitalized, and none killed. All right. And for promotions, let's go ahead and do that now. Let's see. I don't think, Grant's only got 1 patrol under his belt. Merrington, this was his first patrol. Those are our only 2 green pilots, right? Yes. Or no, wait, Tremble. Is he not marked green? He should be green. Tremble's only got 3, so he needs 1 more. But he had to sit out because he flew 3 in a row. All right, but then we have Hooley is now an ace. So we need to choose an ace skill for him. And I think I'm just going to go with, well, you know what? We got that. I want to try this out just to see what it's like. So I'm going to pick for his ace skill, as soon as I find where they are. Here they are. Innovator, because that lets you use the advanced squadron display and allows the break veteran privilege. So I want to see what this is all about. So we're going to make him an innovator, but we'll have to wait until he gets out of the hospital. Let's find his little ace skill marker. The little 4 plane section. There it is. Okay, so this is going to be his ace skill. We'll give that to Hooley. And get well soon, Hooley. We want to try out that 4-fighter section as soon as we can. All right. Did we have any regulars that are now veterans? Let's see. Who are our regulars? We got Merrington's green. We got Osgood, who now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mark who flew this patrol. Let me do that here real quick. We had Upchurch. We had Northcott. We had Osgood. We had Fitzroy. Let's get our hospitalized guys. Merrington. Hooley. And Atkinson. Upchurch I got, Osgood, North, and Fitzroy. Then we had Grant. That should be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm missing somebody. Oh, Doggett. He bailed out. There we go. All right. Now let's see if anybody made veteran. So we had Doggett. Let's see. That's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th patrol. So he's not there yet. Osgood. I think we just checked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fitzroy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that was it for our regulars. Doggett, Osgood, and Fitzroy. So no promotions there yet. All right. That is going to wrap things up for this episode of Skies Above Britain. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you did like what you see or have seen. Let me know in the comments if you spotted anything I did incorrectly. Oh, I almost forgot. So a few patrols ago, I got Tremble as a replacement. And I mentioned that there was a James Bond connection there. And no one has responded in the comments yet letting me know that they figured out that connection. So I will just let everyone know now. Casino Royale, not the newer one. 1967, I think. It's actually a spoof James Bond movie. Evelyn Tremble was the one that played Le Chiffre in Baccarat in that adaptation of it, played by Peter Sellers. Le Chiffre was actually played by Orson Welles. So great movie. You should check it out. It's pretty hilarious. A lot of big name stars from the era were in it, including the Three Stooges. A little cameo there by them. But yeah, definitely check it out. Woody Allen, David Niven, lots of big names. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.